Jordan Howlett, come here. Jordan Howlett is an incredible creator. You might recognize him from his secret recipe collections or from the very awkward times when Donald Glover or Michael B. Jordan would try to pretend to be you on camera. You've made the pop socket on the back of the phone almost as famous as you've made short form format. And he is joining myself and Todd Sherman, who is our lead for shorts on YouTube. He has been building out this incredible platform where incredible creators get to tell short form stories. And I'm Rene Ritchie. I've been a creator since 2008, and now I work inside YouTube, where I get to bring all of us together for incredible conversations like this. Thank you both so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. I never thought of it that way. How dare they all try to copy me?
I know, right? But they say it's like eggshell and navy, or
right.
like
and
cream
they know what they're doing.
And indigo. Yeah, but
clearly
it's a drip rip.
It's a direct rip. We shopped at the same places. I saw them buy it.
But I do like the fact that you will play there, like help them make the movies when they need to appear more than once.
Right, and that's the thing. Like Method Man be like, Jordan, I'm having a tough time trying to figure out what to wear, and I'm like, I got you. Don't worry. His wardrobe is purely all me.
And we don't know if it's him on the records anymore all the time.
Or sometimes I'll stand in for him if he has stuff to do. Like.
So how did you get into making short form videos?
Well, shoot, man. That's a great question. How did I do it?
I think you started I don't know. Did the secret recipes come first, or did you reacting to people's situations come first?
You know what? It was kind of a mixture of it all. I think when I first started, even trying it, because everybody who made short form content was are currently, but my first impression was everyone's so incredibly talented. Like everybody has a thing. They were dancing, they were singing, they were drawing, they were painting, they were like full productive, like skits. It was amazing. And I'm like, this is so good. I can't do any of that. Again, I came from a sports background where all I knew was to like lift heavy things and try sometimes and then fail most of the time. And that's all I really knew how to do. Like my dad and my brother and my mom are all just naturally talented. They can draw, they can sing, they can play instruments. I just couldn't do that. And so for short form content or social media, I was like, well, I got to find a thing. Like, what's my thing? What do I do? And so when I was doing videos, I'm trying everything, man. Trying everything that I thought was kind of cool to try. I tried doing the whole like the voiceover skit situation just because I thought it was kind of fun, and it got me out of my comfort zone. That was a big goal with all this, is just get me out of my comfort zone. It's like it was an anxiety exercise for me. I just wanted to not be so anxious about stuff. I wanted to not be so introverted, and so I just wanted to do it for myself. I really didn't care if people were saying it or not. I just wanted to make them. And I mean, I just tell people I do 6 or 7 videos a day of just like whatever I thought was kind of neat, or try to share my little opinions on this, that, or whatever. And then when I started working 9-to-5 jobs, that was when things started kind of catching on. First was I would have a awful day at work, and I'd be like, guess what happened? And then just be like an awful experience with a customer, or maybe a coworker, or maybe a boss. And because I'm so smart, I would have my work clothes on while telling these stories. And I kind of went from there. And then from there, I just started just whatever I was feeling, right? Reacting to recipes or what have you.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started seeing your videos on TikTok. When you were like, come here, I was like, oh, this guy, he's confident. He's got something important to share. They're like, it's a great hook. You go into these storytellings. And so like, it felt like a hook. Did you like architect that, or did it just seem like it worked and you kept going with it? Like, tell me about that.
I have like thalassophobia. I have this big old fear of like gigantic things, especially in the ocean, like gigantic squids, the megalodon, things of that nature. So I remember the exact time and day. It was probably like 1:30, 2 in the morning, and I was watching this video about this gigantic squid that someone had accidentally caught when they were fishing for crabs. And I'm in my room, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is so scary. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go in that bathroom and react to whatever I just watched right now. I'm not thinking about it. I just went in there, and so I'm like, oh, come here, get away from me. And it just happened really fast. I'm like, all right, well, I thought nothing of it. And then when I posted it, you wake up and it has a lot of views, and you think to yourself like, oh, people are probably talking about this gigantic squid, because that's the topic of the video. And it wasn't. It was people like why'd you tell me to come here? Why you tell me to back up? I just came close. It was a lot of that. And I was like, okay. And I would try not to do it, and people were like, what's the come here? Where's that at? And so like I would tell anybody, like, listen to the audience. I then at that point started doing a little more frequently. And then after that, I just liked doing it. It helped me focus, because when I do the videos, the ones just me, they're not scripted. They're right when I'm in that bathroom, and I'll just go for what I'm thinking about, and I'll just go. And then even if I do a quick little mess up, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna pause, like just get it out. And so when I say like, come here, it's like my mental indicator, like, you got to wrap this up here soon, or like, okay, we got to focus back on whatever topic I was talking about. So at that point, it helps me out, and so I just carried on from there.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Todd, but it seems like there's two, if not distinct, but like two sort of origin stories for short form creators. Some are people who have been creators for a while, and they see short form as a way to increase their reach, or to get highlights out there, or like just another way to tell a story. But others, it feels to me like there is this group of people who just grew up on the internet, and maybe they went from message boards to Usenet to social networks, and it was text-based, but now everything is video, and somebody who might have just posted something before now wants to share that same voice, but in video form. And now, because people are increasingly comfortable with video, people who want to share those opinions, those feelings, those thoughts, they want to do it in video form, and Shorts just makes that so accessible.
Yeah, I think especially as videos get longer, in the short form realm, there's like oftentimes a lot higher production effort that goes into it. I mean, on occasion, somebody will just tell a story that's a few minutes long and hold your attention. But when you think about the creators that tend to lean towards longer short form, oftentimes they are people that are anchored on long form, right? Like they have a really involved production process, ideation, storyboard, scripting, oftentimes shot sequences, all the production of shooting, and then all the post and heavy editing.
Like Jenny Hoyos told it was like an hour per finished second.
And then they compress that
short,
down into short form, and they end up spending a tremendous amount of time making a 1 minute video, because it's following that much more involved production process. On the other hand, people that grew up on short form, they're often much lighter on the production process and really focused on the storytelling, being their authentic selves, and that can happen very easily with a phone, and it makes it a lot more accessible to many more people. And you could also make a lot more of those videos in a given period of time, right? And so I'm sure that there's creators that go in between that spectrum, but it certainly seems like those are two kind of groups, yeah.
So you don't have like a soundstage with 30 bathrooms on them now, right? Just so that there's one always available for your next.
It's a real bathroom. It's not a green screen.
It is a real bath. We're method here. We do things real. That toilet does flush. No.
So what do you think about, like, originally there was like 1 minute shorts, or people were keeping like shorter shorts. Now it seems like people can go 3 minutes with short, or people can go 3 minutes shorts. How do you feel about the difference in time scales?
I love it. I absolutely love it. I think, I think, and to that statement, absolutely. I think when people feel as though there's a longer leash, or there's not so much, two things happen, right? If you get, excuse me, if you get confined into a 1 minute, even 45 second at times leash of content, that's a lot of creativity just to add into how do you condense this into this. So that creates a new level of creativity. You expand that into now you went from like, you get these small portions to now you got the whole table. You're almost overwhelmed. Because you'll get done making your video and you're like, I actually have another minute and 35 seconds. I could do some more stuff. Like you know what I mean? It's kind of like you go to class and your teacher's like, you have homework, but it's due by the end of the semester. So I have just whenever you want to get it done. You don't know what to do. You're like, do I do it now? Or is this a test? Like, that's how it feels. But in all reality, though, I think there's a lot of power in having the option of 3 minutes and still actively keeping even under that, if you keep it in a minute, because at that point it's way more intentional, or vice versa, or you use every ounce of that 3 minutes to try to make sure you get the message across. And you're right, higher production value. If you can add more stuff, you will. Some people want to add, some people want to subtract. It's the art of it. And someone said, literally yesterday, someone said yesterday, we ran into each other, and they do content to where they go out into the world and they film it that way. And he walks up and he's like, hey, like, he's He's like, yeah, I have to actually go out into the world. You know, it's not as easy as just, you know, it could be in your bathroom and do whatever. And here's the thing, like, and I really appreciate that sentiment and that sentence because, you know, you're right. At the end of the day, sure, like, you know, you can do the video kind of whenever, and that's the edge that you have. But within that, there's still a whole lot of process. Excuse me. There's still a whole process to doing it, man. Because at the end of the day, it's not just like putting anything out just to put it out. Like, you know, you want something that you like, the audience likes. I tell people like this, right? You used to, so like back when growing up, like I had cable, you had like just Channel 5, it was CW. I watched like what King of Queens or I mean Seinfeld was on or like Everybody Hates Chris or what have you, right? You know, people love watching something. Yeah. So if you got any room to put anything out that day, give somebody an episode. It doesn't matter what it is. Give somebody something that you like and they can watch. It doesn't have to be the most viral thing in the world, but just give them something on a daily basis if you can do it.
What's your creative process like for your videos? Are you planning out a whole series of these? Is it? Are you watching a lot of video in order to get that inspiration?
Well, you do have like your series, like you have like the secret recipes that you did. Yeah. You have like the people dressing like you that you did, and you have like the I tried what someone else put up on it.
Absolutely, or like people trying to like, what is this? And you know, I'll try to find it and all that. But I love them because they're callbacks. So like, you know, if there's, it gives you a bigger playground to work with. But the creative process is really just, honestly, it's more simple and chaotic than I think I could even care to mention. It literally is just you wake up and you're like, well, let's see if we can find a video today. And that's really just it. I mean, I try to spend not a lot of time on my phone, funny enough. And you just kind of try to go out into the world. And if you see something that sparks your interest, you know, you might start, you know, letting it sit in your brain. But for me personally, if I have an idea for a video, it needs to get done there. It has to. We were at the Webbies yesterday, and I'm with my manager, Mike, and I'm like, dude, I gotta go do a video right now. And he's like, we're at the Webbies. I'm like, I gotta go. So I left the venue. I went down to this little shop, like 2 doors down. I bought these little miniature cookies so I could use that bathroom, and I locked myself in there and I knocked it out and got back to the Webbies because it's an itch you need to scratch. That's how I feel about it, and I think it keeps me as true to myself as possible.
I feel the same way. Like I feel like I became a creator because I have something in me that I need to get it out, and it just like once it's done, I'm fine. But like it's like echoing, like reverberating inside me.
It's like handcuffs. You're like, I got to get these off.
Or it's like an explosion that you're just trying to keep inside.
Yes,
you.
Man. Like that's why to this day, I mean, I give so much credit to people who have like, they're like, oh, this is a guaranteed banger video. We're gonna keep this tier for a little while. I'm like, how? How are you doing that? Like,
you have something else to say.
Yeah. So at least here, I'll tell you. Like for the Donald Glover video, right? The thing is, when me and Donald had met each other, we talked for probably 2 hours prior to doing the video, and he's just a kind-hearted individual, and he's just so genuine that when we talked, you forget that he's a famous person. You're just like, okay, this is a regular person we're talking. And by the time we got done filming it, it was so funny objectively to me, just like the content itself. I was just like, we gotta get this out now. Like I think I posted it before I even left the area of where he was at, and I got it up there, and I forgot he's Donald, so I posted it not thinking anything of it. I put my phone in my pocket, I go get some tacos, and literally my phone is like crater hot. I could feel it burning my leg. I'm like, oh my, and I look, and it's just, and my phone is on Do Not Disturb, and it's still doing that. So I'm looking, and it's everybody blowing me up. Like, why haven't you not told me this? What's happening? Why is this happening? And it was just all this stuff.
Donald's like, I didn't know I was on your video.
Well, no, that's the thing. So me and Donna are talking about it, and we saw each other later that night. So we filmed it in the morning. We filmed it at like 11:30 that morning. I posted it. I didn't see him until 7 o'clock that evening. By the time I got back to him, I think the video was cresting probably 5 million views just by the time we saw each other get there. And he's like, dude, I'm like, I told him, it's just how it works sometimes. You know what I mean? It's just, I think he also appreciated how light of a lift it was. I'm like, we're just talking. That's all. So it was fun.
Yeah, it makes me wonder, maybe for videos that don't have Donald Glover in them, how quick are you expecting to get a signal if the video is like working? Like if it's like on a right path, do you like track that closely? Like how do you know
I tell people all the time, videos will tell a story to you. Videos will talk to you. And I think like with everything, like everyone looks at engagement at times. They'll look at shares or favorites or saves or comments or likes or what have you. And so, and the rate of that, the ratio of it, all of it. So for me, it's sometimes I just know. Like sometimes I could just feel it. I'm like, I don't even need to look at it. I know this is a good one.
Because your phone is hot.
Well, no, that's the thing. My phone normally stays ice cold. Like I'll take a look. I'm like, oh, it went well. Very rarely do people contact me and be like, what is this? But no, like sometimes you just know. Other times, and I know this is so cliche for creators to say, but you'll know sometimes in the first like 3-4 minutes, you'll know like, okay, this might do well. And then for me personally, I'll really look at the wide spectrum of it, because sometimes a video might not do great in engagement for the first 2-3 hours, but the ratio is so great. It's so compacted. Like for 1,000 views, you're getting like 700 likes. You keep that video. Like that is a solid video. There's something that's telling you like an overwhelming amount of people who are watching it are liking it. Or like there's so many more saves than usual. Okay, that means that there's something that people want to share with others. Or people want to come back to later. Or what, like comments, right? Obviously, if there's more comments and likes, something went bad. Yeah. Something went wrong. So you just listen to the video and how it works. So to answer your question, I guess how do I know is like honestly within the first hour I'll know from the numbers themselves or just from an initial feeling. Yeah.
One of the things that YouTube has done recently is change the way views work. So there's the new view count, which is basically how often the video shows up in the feed. And we have the traditional view count, which is engaged views. And I like this because I think it makes it easier for creators to tell how a video is performing in total sum across platforms,
for sure.
Like just where it pops up. When you told me this, I don't know if you thought I would like it or not, but I immediately loved the idea just because there wasn't really a way to get that analytics before.
Yeah, you know, when we first started Shorts, oftentimes what we do in Shorts is we ask ourselves like, well, how does this work in long form? And then should we just lean on that? Because oftentimes somebody some time ago found a good position that was principled, and then, if we're going to do something different, we have to come up with sort of different reasons. So when we first started Shorts, we started counting views the same way that we do in long form. And I think the interesting thing about how long form counts views is that originally every single view on YouTube was the result of people selecting a video, like they tap it or click it. And so there was no autoplay. There was no autoplay on home. There was no autoplay on the watch page, which is the page you go to after you start watching a video. But then when they started autoplaying, like if people were dwelling, they just wanted to start the video. They didn't want to start counting views right away because that really doesn't signal sort of like intent to watch like a click or a tap does. So they, working with the data scientists, they sort of like looked at the curves of how long people tend to watch.
I love autoplay for what it's worth.
Right.
Autoplay will have me watching it just from the autoplay. I won't even
it's just
click
convenient,
it. Sometimes
right?
I'll just watch it and not realize I didn't click it.
Right. So I've watched entire videos on home without leaving. But when they try to sort of define what the view is, they wanted it to be similar to a click. Without
like
needing
you're clicking
to
with your attention.
Yeah, you're clicking with your attention, kind of.
That,
So we leverage that for Shorts, but what we found over time is that we would hear things from creators like, gosh, I only got this many views. I'm surprised more people didn't see my video.
Yeah, you couldn't tell how many times you showed up
Right,
in the feed.
and what actually was true is many more people saw your video, but they didn't get to these thresholds that we've defined. And so when you think about short form, though, it's sort of almost the opposite engagement model of long form. Like people are not selecting a specific video; they're swiping in a feed,
which is like an unselection.
Yeah, you're just deciding to keep going and show me the next thing. And people, I think both creators and viewers are expecting that when a video is seen in the feed, that gets encoded in what gets reported as a view. Where that's just different than on long form, which is you're expecting it to basically be approximately a tap or a click.
Yeah.
And so talking to creators, looking at it, we basically decided to make that change. And I think it really helps a lot of people understand that we're working to get them an audience, right? And they get that feedback more quickly. They see numbers that are more comparable with how it tends to work in the world now.
You can tell that your short was there, but like people, it didn't hold attention.
Yeah. Yeah, that leads to honestly the next question I had for you is, I know for when I've talked to predominantly YouTuber-centric creators who are mainly long-form preferred, and obviously short form is just as much as respected in the space now for sure. Do you feel as though they're still very just hyper analytic and hypercritical about how they post a short and give it the same attention to detail as a long form, or do they feel as though because shorts is now having the more this tweaked version of engagement and how it's recorded, do you feel as though it's giving them a little bit of like a looser, like, let's get some shorts out there, let's just post it, or do you feel as though they're more like, we need to be on this time on this date kind of thing?
I don't think the change in the views metric for shorts has changed that behavior much.
Okay.
But I think there is a spectrum of creators there that invest different amounts in short form. Some of them treat it
science guy, man.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
they just, a lot of people treat it as full blown videos, but they could just do them more frequent. They maybe test out new ideas, and if it really pops off, they'll make a longer form video about it. Some people treat it as really like the top of funnel for their channel and getting exposure. So but some people treat it less seriously and they're sort of clipping things, but at least in the creators I've spoken with, I think the ones that tend to get the best results are not just cropping part of their long form video and kind of throwing it. They're putting a bit more effort into it. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, I think that's really true. And I think you said in the beginning that your family was very talented. I would argue that you are very talented because not only do you have that voice, but you have that ability to connect with an audience, which I think is so powerful in short form. Like when people are going through a feed, it's easy to just like keep going. But I think if you can capture that attention, that's what lets you start to make the magic with a shorts channel.
Oh, firstly, thank you, man. I think as I got older, I'm starting to realize that, there is an immense power in storytelling. That's one thing my dad, he already knows, parents, when they lecture you, it's like, all right, let's sit down and hear the whole thing. My dad, I love him so much if you're watching, everything was like a lecture. Everything was like a 2.5 hour long lecture. So I just got used to sitting there and then just hearing him for hours. And I think that had rubbed off on me when I'm talking to people, because it's there's always a setup and an analogy and a story and a whole thing to when he had to get a point across. And that's the one thing I enjoy. I really enjoy telling a story. I love it because you're right. I mean, you can just really put so much passion into getting your point across, always. And, it makes it feel way more intentional when you speak, and I think I love that. I love having intention when speaking. I love trying to talk with people and let them know when they have questions. Like even yesterday when they were asking, 3 days ago rather, the question was, what do you have advice-wise for creators? Because I think I'm certain, if anything, you two know the most than anybody else. Content creators can at times get in their own heads. They can be very superstitious. They can be they can talk themselves out of getting more content out due to the fear of failure. And I tell people, from personal experience, from sports to now, and all in between, it is impossible to beat somebody who doesn't give up, right? And I heard that, and it rang in my brain for years and years. And it's evident. I mean, look at any documentary you like, any person that you enjoy. Do you guys have people that you have admired as sports figures or what have you?
I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a long time, and Renzo Gracie said this thing early on. He said, a black belt is just a white belt who never quit. And that stuck with me.
It's the same exact sentiment. I tell people, look at your favorite athlete's documentary series. Your favorite one. None of them were like, he was incredibly talented and he got famous. That wasn't how that worked. It was like, oh, he was either, very undersized growing up and people overlooked him, or he struggled really hard, but he persevered and went on with it. When I was getting close to, when I got to Division I baseball and I was trying to, get this journey into the draft, the one thing I learned, because I looked around, I mean, I played with guys who've had tremendous talent. I mean, talent that I'm just looking and I'm in awe. Like, it goes past feeling insecure about your own talent. It goes into, you're just a fan. And these people might be younger than you. You're like, how are you doing this?
That increases your appreciation for the human potential.
Well, not only that, the human potential, and also you guys are both in the same place. They are hands down more talented than you, but then go down the road and you end up still playing and they're not. And you're like, how did this happen? It's almost criminal that this happened. But because you realize that, you just stick with it. don't have to be incredibly talented. You have to persevere through all the rough terrain of it to get to the other side. It doesn't mean that the other person isn't less talented or works less hard, but it means you have to find a way, scratch and claw a way to make it work. So long-winded, but for shorts, for content, for anybody making content, that's the same thing. You just go, you go. Notice, I promise you, anybody that had like an overwhelmingly popular video that went crazy and changed their lives, 50 videos that didn't do well followed right behind that. Right?
One of my favorite things is to go to like Marquez Brownlee's channel or Mr. Beast's channel, and you sort by oldest, and then you start watching the early videos and see how many it takes before they start becoming who they are.
Or even the in-between, and that's the one thing we don't talk about enough is the in-between. Say you've gained your following and you gain this notoriety, you gain this popularity. You think you're never going to fail again? That is impossible. You will fail again. You're going to have low weeks, low months of like, you're like, man, I am not getting it. You'll think, am I going here? Am I washing up? All these things. Yeah. The word washed up, the word, what do they say, fell off?
Yeah.
The washed up, all that stuff, it doesn't exist, man. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
Or you think you're great and you can just coast and the world reminds you.
And the world, mind you, the world will humble you, of course. But the idea of somebody, being completely like, well, you're done now, you're old news. There's no such thing, man. People can come back and make something great. It doesn't matter what point in time you're at. So I tell people.
One more piece of advice to ask you, and that is, you have done really well with reaction videos where the sort of someone proposes something and then you give your take on it, but also collabs with people, like other creators, celebrities. What is the advice you can give someone who's interested in being more like participatory, like doing those kind of reacts, doing those sort of collabs?
Oh my gosh. Be a genuine human being. That's all I can say. Like, look, this industry, be it celebrity industry, social media industry, what have you, ego is the killer of creativity, in my opinion. Sometimes, sometimes someone's ego can get in the way of something so awesome. And I think all the people that we've worked with, because people ask, how'd you do it? My approach is simply this. Look, man, I have this idea. Give me a chance. I got you. It'll take less than 5 minutes. I'll make it easy. And I promise you, it'll be the most lighthearted thing. Just if you can hear me out on it. And even before we do that, I'll sit and I'll talk with them. Hey, what do you want to do? What would you like? What's going on? How are you? And then let them know. If by any point you don't want to do this, that's fine. If we did the video and it's filmed and we're done and it's out and you like, actually, Jordan, I changed my mind. It's gone. It doesn't matter how good it's doing. If Donald called me to this day, it's like, Jordan, I don't want it up no more. It's gone. I want to give them that relief. And I think for a lot of people in the creative space, whether you're up here or down here, it's just again, being genuine, being incredibly genuine. And I think that works the best. I mean, there are people who we worked with where, I'm not going to lie to you, like the first impressions were rough, but then you sit down, you talk with them, you're like, okay, I get it now. Mm-hmm. The best example is this. A lot of creators can attest to this. When you walk outside and people will stop you, ask for pictures, talk to you, it's a parasocial relationship. People feel as though they know you, they're your best friends, right? Because they see you every day. So they'll walk up to you. They don't care what you're doing. They're like, hey, are you busy in a conversation? Sorry. And they want what they want to get because in their eyes, I'm not going to see this person again, so I got to go do this right now. And you got to keep that in mind, give them the most patience you can. But mind you, like I was at the airport and I'm asleep on an airplane and somebody pulled my earphones out of my ears while I'm sleeping. And I'm awake and I'm trying to figure out what's happening right now. I'm like, but even within that, you can't fault them because again, people will act out of character sometimes because they're not expecting to see you. And so, mind you, I've been doing this, to this capacity of attention, it's been maybe 2 years at most. And, it's been a learning curve. You deal with someone like a Donald Glover or a Method Man or a Michael or a Ryan or a Will or anybody. Yeah. They've been doing this for decades, every day, 365 for years. People walking up, wanting something from you, wanting a picture from you, taking your time, even if you need moments of privacy. They don't care, not because they're bad people at all. It's because in their moment, this is their opportunity, right? So you have to understand that when you walk up to one of them maybe and they're just like not the best in the world. They've been doing it for so long, but it also gives you appreciation for people who are still so kind and so soft and so genuine when they've been going through it for 10, 15 plus years. just being kind, being genuine will get you so far.
What are you thinking about now with the shorts as an ecosystem? Are you looking at when recommendations, shorter shorts versus longer shorts, how like recency, freshness, all of these sorts of elements?
All these things are things that we're thinking about. I think we want to continue to make shorts a place where it's easy to get started. And when you think about what does it mean to get started as a creator, oftentimes creators, I don't even know if the people I'm talking about would call themselves creators when they're getting started. Mm-hmm. They're watching videos, maybe they see something that is relatable. Maybe they also have, a really cute or goofy cat like I do, right? And they just want to have some fun with it, right? And so you want to create a stage that is approachable for people. And so we don't want to lose, I think, a lot of what we've built, but we also want to focus on making YouTube a great place to get started as a creator because, regardless of how you get started on YouTube, there's just so many options, areas that you can move into, right? Whether it be podcast or long form videos or different ways of leveraging short form. But we want to make it easy to get started. And, behind that is a lot of work on algorithms, right? So if you're seeing videos that are approachable to you and they feel like they're not terribly difficult to make and it seems like authenticity is valued, then you're going to feel like this is a place where I have a voice, right? And so making that happen in the feed is great. But then once somebody does take a step forward and upload a video, there's a lot of work that goes into trying to get them that early audience, right? Through video understanding and running sort of like test audience. Mm-hmm. We call it exploration through the algorithm. And then once they create a video, they should be continuing to see videos that are sort of similar to the type of thing they're making. Oftentimes that helps create community. I do wonder if when you were first starting out, did you have other creators jump in your comments and support you, or was it mostly sort of just like audience to creator?
It was straight audience to creator for sure. It was a thing where the views and the comments are obviously very low because I just started out. And everybody at the time, it may be maybe 10, 13 comments, and they're very sweet and very kind. And then the minute I would post a video and it would be an overwhelming amount of very negative comments, I got excited because I'm like, oh, I'm reaching audiences that don't
expanding
know
your
me.
audience.
That's how I saw it. I'm like, okay, cool. The people who it might not be for them, and they're letting me know it's not for them, but it's reaching them. So that's what gave me the indicator. Okay, we're expanding from that. Other creators, it was more down the road. So if a video goes absolutely crazy, they'll be once you start seeing those check marks, you're like, okay, now we're jumping in. But in the beginning, you'll hear everything under the sun, and then but again, I tell people look at that as oh, the reason this person is so upset is because they never seen you before, and they're seeing you right now, which means there's expansion in somewhere.
Yeah, that expansion is a big part of the algorithm. You want to see people do well with their initial audience, and then you want to get them more and more and grow that mobility upwards and help them continue to grow their audience. And so being able to do that at scale for everybody that's trying to start today and tomorrow, there's sort of a lot of algorithmic work behind that. You mentioned freshness. That's another important point. I think that when you serve fresher videos, you get creators' feedback more quickly, which helps close the loop with them about what worked. But it also, on the viewer side, they see things that are more current and sort of part of the current zeitgeist. And so that's another important part of it. There's sort of shout out to the Shorts Discovery team. They're constantly working on behalf of viewers and creators to get people videos that they love, and then make it easy for creators to get started and grow. And so there's just so many experiments and launches that we're constantly running to try and really serve the creator base and the viewer base. It's really fun.
How do you feel about trends, effects, that part of? I know obviously you're not hopping on the latest dance trend too often, but just trending sounds, trending topics, trending effects, those sorts of things.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic tool for, like we talk about it, right? Like I said, it's you almost have to view short form content, just content in general, like as a new version of TV in a way. Like people will check in daily, for their daily dose of whoever they like. And so if there's a trend that's overwhelmingly popular and you're still in between ideas and you're having a tough time, absolutely the trend will help, and it'll get you, maybe a newer audience and get you out of your comfort zone for sure. Trends are incredibly great, especially for newer creators just starting out. Like, it's a great way to kind of get your feet wet before you really know what you're doing, and it's you can attest it to like an up and coming actor, or maybe like let's say like a wrestler. I don't know if you guys watch wrestling, but like for wrestling, like the thing is like, you first get in, you're trying to figure out what your persona is going to be.
Yeah.
Like The Rock, when he had the people's eyebrow and the people's elbow and all. You didn't know he was going to do that yet. So when he first got Rocky Maivia, the Nation Domination, all that. Like, he was still learning himself. So same thing with creators. Trends are great for when you're still learning yourself and you want some engagement in an audience. I don't think it should be heavily leaned just to be on trends all the time, because the video doesn't stay current. People can't go back to it maybe a month or two later, because it would be viewed as just like older or stale. So, but the trade-off is, in that immediate moment, it will be the hottest thing out. So, you got to weigh it. But I think it's a great tool for sure.
Is that how you look at them similarly?
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about trends is like the collective of people participating on a trend is part of like this moment over like sometimes a few days or a week or a couple weeks. And I think that there's something, it's tapping into something that I think is like part of what makes us human, to like wanna, it's like you're at a big game and people are like chanting. It's like there's these shared moments. I think there's something really powerful about that. It almost feels like a little bit of like an inside joke, right? And if like you don't know the trend, then sometimes they're dances, sometimes they're concepts, but sometimes it's not even a shared sound. Sometimes it's just the concept. And being part of that, I think, feels like you're part of something that's like a little exclusive, like that, and like I think part of that is culture, right? So yeah, I think it's a really powerful thing. Yeah.
Well, it's also a great litmus test to see, like, who's with it and who's not. Like, so you see it all the time. You're with your friends and you'll drop a little reference and they're like, "What are you talking about?" You're like, "Ooh, like you don't
you didn't know the 100 humans
You're not
won?
on the internet.
Exactly, the gorilla versus 100 humans debate.
Gorilla did great for the first 5 minutes, and then
but yeah,
gassed out.
But it's all seriousness, absolutely right. But I think there's also, for people who maybe not into trends, there is, a significant benefit to trying to really make your name from not following the trends, because it's a longer lifespan, sure, but again, there's a give and take to all of it.
Yeah.
So where do you see short form in yourself? Like, what's your vision for the next little while?
I like the way I like that question. I think the vision itself is I really want to see more creators just not be afraid to do their thing, not be afraid to to go out and create and express themselves. I think for me personally, this is just such a fun journey. It is that, and I think that for myself, like, I want to continue doing this for as long as it's fun for me. The minute I feel like this is a job or it's work, I will stop, because the thing is, it's going to come off in the videos as work at that point. It's going to come off as like, okay, I don't think he wants to do this, and I'd much rather leave when I'm like, this is fun, this has been great, I'm good now. But for right now, like, someone asked me yesterday, like, how do you have the stamina? How do you keep the want to do this every day? I'm like, because you literally, it is in you. Mm-hmm. You want to do it every day. Like, you're addicted to doing it. If I had no guardrails all day long, if no one had called my phone all day, I'm probably filming 8, 9 videos of just whatever, because you just want to do it. It's fun. So.
Yeah. What about you, Todd? You've been working on shorts the last few years. How would you sum up that experience, and what shorts are now and where they're going?
Yeah, I think there's some common ground here, right? Like, the type of work that energizes you is the type of work that you want to think about it all the time. Right? Yeah. You have ideas in the shower, on the drive to work, and I think it's a real privilege to be able to work on things that you have passion for like that, right? So that's been great. I think that in terms of like short form, I think it's a really it's an evolving thing, right? Because originally it was all very short. You think about even like the early days of like Vine, and like it was very snackable, and it sort of fit in these small moments. And as it's gotten a bit longer over time, it can support longer sessions. So there's really like an array of user needs met there even on the viewer side. It's a great way to discover things, but you could also kind of dive a little bit deeper in short form now. It's still a great way to get started as a creator that maybe considers it just like a fun hobby type thing, but it also is a path to really growing an audience and moving into other formats, and a whole career around being a creative person, being somebody that gets by being an authentic person on camera that has a point of view and a story to tell. So I think it's such an exciting sort of like format for that reason. I think AI is another thing that I think is really interesting. Creators are always trying to pull tools and capabilities into their workflow to make things easier or more efficient. But in short form in particular, we're seeing people leverage AI, including generating video, to lower the barriers so even more people can participate. So I think that's an area to watch in the coming years for sure.
So like a new creator could use AI to auto-center themselves or auto-light themselves, whereas you could use it to Thanos snap everyone who's dressing like you in your video and just get about your recipe business.
Goodness gracious. And look, and there's a flip side to it, right? Because here's the thing. Like I said, we really enjoy people pushing themselves in the best possible way for creativity. And I think for a lot of it, and it was said yesterday, right? I think people still have the want and craving for just the real human work of it all. So I think for people who might not enjoy AI, they if anything, that pushes them to work more on their stuff, more to add that originality to themselves, more and keep the recipe, really themselves. And again, like with everything, you want things that push you. You want things that push you to do things, to a grander scale. And I think that there's a lot of I think there's a lot of respect in that, honestly. I mean, I think that, like, for example, because I'm a baker, right? I love baking. So like sometimes I want to use a KitchenAid. Sometimes I want to mix that thing by hand. I want to know that bread was made by me by hand. So when I eat it, it tastes good, and I taste good because I know I made it. And so I think there's a beautiful, it was a yin to the yang of it all, 100%.
Love that. Well, Jordan, Todd, thank you so much. This was a delightful conversation, and I look forward to many more as we go on.
Likewise. I thank you guys so much.
Fun.
This has been incredibly fun, man.
And thank you all for joining us. You know what to do. Hit up those comments. Ask your questions.
Right.
Tell us who should maybe be in the next Jordan video.
Right.
Recipe.
What outfit should we all wear for the next interview? Because we all have to match at this point.
I think it's going to be eggshell and...
I'm thinking almond brown, forest green. That's what
forest
I'm thinking.
green,
It's a good combo.
Emerald green for it. We can debate.
We'll debate it later on.
We'll get out a set of Pantone colors.
Right. And the thing is, the one time I forgot my glasses and you guys have yours, so we'll get that too.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys, man.